want to thank everybody for being here today. Luckily, we've got great weather here. When I left Indianapolis to come out, it was in the 30s, so it was great to come here to have weather like this today. I was here in August and July too, so glad we're doing this here in October. So again, appreciate everybody coming out today. I'd just like to welcome a few people here in the audience, be introducing the speakers, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder, so I'll wait till the end. If there's some things that didn't get picked up on that I'd like to mention, I will do that then. So with that, I'd like to welcome Mayor Giles. Appreciate you coming out. We've got Chris Hake, Senior Vice President and Director of the Southwest Region for Thompson Thrift Commercial. We've got Councilman Kevin Thompson here with us. Appreciate you coming out. Additional guests, we've got Julie Spilsbury, Council Member here in the front. Thank you. Mark Freeman, Council Member. Appreciate you coming out. Bill Jabjeniak. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sally Harrison from the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate it. We've also got Scott Summers, Councilman-elect, joining us today. Hiding over there in the shade. Thank you. And we've got Chris Brady, City Manager. So thank you very much for coming out. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Chris Hake.
Thank you, John. Appreciate everyone coming out again. Good morning to everyone. My name is Chris Hake, and I'm Senior Vice President and Director of the Southwest Region for Thompson Thrift Commercial. Over the last 18 months, our team has worked hand in hand with the City of Mesa to bring this newest project to the Elliott Road Tech Corridor, Elliott Tech Center. So when I wrote this speech, I didn't know how the stage was going to be configured. So I've put just over my shoulder, you can see construction has started. So I'm going to pivot. So just over there, construction has started on phase one of this development, which will comprise 25 acres, including 5 retail pads along Elliott and Signal Butte roads, and 3 spec industrial buildings, which will have more than 225,000 square feet that'll cater to manufacturing and technology-based users looking to locate in the corridor. As many of us already know, the Elliott Road Tech Corridor is a highly sought-after industrial and employment hub, not only here in the Phoenix Metro, but throughout the Southwest United States. With easy access to the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport and close proximity to the Loop 202 and US 60, we expect this project to be in high demand as we complete phase one in fall 2023. In fact, we are so optimistic that the Elliott Road Tech Corridor and the City of Mesa's future, we've announced that we've recently closed on an additional 50 acres of contiguous land, which will wrap phase one and allow for an additional 625,000 square feet of industrial space in this corridor. That land is located right back here and right behind me. This will allow our team at Thompson Thrift and the City of Mesa Economic Development Department to work closely to bring in these highly desirable tech and manufacturing users to this area on these soon-to-be shovel-ready sites. We expect the first buildings within phase two, which will be approximately 215,000 square feet, to be located right back here north of phase one. When done and the entire project and fully built out, Thompson Thrift will have invested close to $200 million into the Elliott Road Tech Corridor and City of Mesa. Today's exciting groundbreaking and phase two announcement could not be possible without the diligence and hard work of so many people. The entire Thompson Thrift team would like to personally thank Mayor Giles, Kevin Thompson, Economic Development Director Bill Jabjeniak, newly promoted, I don't see him here today, Developmental Services Director Nana. I don't believe he's here, but someone thank him for me, and City Manager Chris Brady. It's refreshing to come into your municipality, work hand in hand, and able to produce a project like we see here today. Would also like to thank the Young family, Larry, Cody, and Robin, for coming out today, working with us over the last 18 plus or minus months on this project. A lot of trust between both parties, and really appreciate all of your involvement and guidance throughout the process. I'd like to thank several members of our consultant team, Butler Design Group. Rick unfortunately could not be here today, but would like to thank his entire team. We'd like to thank our engineering team, Hunter Design, Hunter Engineering, Clayco, our general contractor on this project, Lee and Associates, who's going to be doing the leasing of the industrial portion of the project. So Kenny right there, if anybody wants to lease space today, he's brought some leases with him, so he can get that done. And then Phoenix Commercial Advisors, who will be leasing the retail portion of the project. I'd also like to recognize a few members of our internal team, starting with Ashley Boyd. Ashley is our managing partner. He could not be here today, had a family medical situation to deal with back in Indianapolis. But like me, he's enjoyed working with everyone here on site today. I'd like to thank Andy Call, who's on spring break, but Andy makes these types of projects happen. He's worked with the city staff for months on this project and others, getting us to a point of where we're at today. I'd like to thank Don Potter and Mike Clark. Don's right there. Mike is in the back. Those guys had a very, very challenging time, not only on this project, but all projects where construction costs are today, having to come in and manage that, value engineer, work hand in hand with consultants and Clayco to keep this a viable project. So without those two guys, again, we would not be sitting here today. We'd probably be somewhere a little cooler and not in the sun, but we'll sacrifice for today. And then finally, would like to thank all of our local team members. Again, we have several on fall break here today, but local team members who made this possible, and those from Indianapolis who traveled in to make this event possible here today. And thank you to Kennedy for coming as well. She said, "Hey, can you say my name when you're up there?" So that box is checked. So thank you, sweetheart, for coming. So thank you all for taking the time to celebrate the occasion here today. We look forward to delivering this best-in-class project to the ERTC and continuing to develop and invest in the city of Mesa.
Thank you, Chris. Councilman Thompson.
Well, thank you all for being here today. What a great day for Mesa and for District 6 and for the community around you. I know this project started really with Larry Yount and I sitting down. It actually started before me with the previous council member and Larry. And then Larry and I spent a lot of time going through different revisions of what this property would look like. And here we are 7.5 years later, and even Chris and I had a couple of meetings about the vision for this site. And what you're seeing today through the drawings is 7.5 years of hard work, building a vision and sticking to that vision, and doing what was best for the community as a whole. And you're going to see that come to fruition. And this is a project I think that the community will be very excited to have in their backyard. And that was what I was after the whole time, was finding something that not only builds character in the community, but something that the constituents and the folks that live around this property will be excited to have. And talking to Chris and some of the projects that are going to be coming in here, this is going to be a phenomenal project, a phenomenal site. And it's going to generate excitement throughout the neighborhood. You guys are going to be the newest heroes to District 6, so thank you. We were talking, Bill and I were talking a little bit before this, and we said, what would it look like if you went back and looked at Google Earth from 2015 when you first got seated, and then roll that video footage forward until you see District 6 today and all that's taken place. And it really got me thinking about the change that we've seen in District 6 since 2015. Because if you remember, in 2015, we were just coming out of a recession. There was not very much construction going on at all. And it took one company to stick a shovel in the ground to prove that development could work once again. And it's been nonstop ever since. And it's been an awesome ride. Being a council member at that time, I remember the previous council, talking with Scott Summers when he was on council previously. It was a difficult time for the city because there were no projects coming, and in different cities, cities across the valley were begging developers to come in and stick a shovel in the ground and to build something. And again, they took that chance on Mesa back in 2015, and it hasn't stopped. And so I'm looking forward to many more years of continued success for District 6 and for Mesa and for the next council and for Bill and his staff as well. I couldn't thank them enough, and for Chris also believing in what we're trying to do and the vision that we're trying to build for District 6. So thank you all for coming out today. Enjoy the beautiful weather, and hopefully we don't all get sunburned. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Thompson. Mayor Giles?
Well, first, I just want to say, Kennedy, thank you so much for coming today. We are excited that you're here. And I'm not saying that just to be silly. You really bring a great perspective to this, because I think the speakers have kind of talked about a kind of a timeline of what this place has looked like over the last few decades. During the conversations that we had, prior to speaking today, in conversation with many of you here, I found myself kept returning to the phrase "center of the universe," and Signal Butte and Elliott has really become the center of the universe. I arrived here a few minutes early, and so I kind of drove around to kill some time, and I parked in a really cool City of Mesa park that's about 100 yards away from here, and it was full of people. And it's a very innovative park with one-of-a-kind. It's got a slide that's about half a mile long, I think, the last time we measured it. To me, it almost brought a tear to my eye to see where Signal Butte and Elliott has come. Mr. Young and I were talking about what this place looked like 30 years ago. And I'll tell you, we can both tell you what it looked like. It was the middle of nowhere. When he bought this property, it was nothing but cactus and rattlesnakes and sagebrush. And so we appreciate the people that have been patient, the people that have worked hard. Mr. Summers, thank you for bringing a top 5 company to downtown, to Signal Butte and Elliott. This address is a very exclusive address, and we are excited that Thompson Thrift and Clayco is planting your flag here. You're going to be a great addition to this neighborhood. So thank you for working with the City of Mesa. We know we pushed back a little bit, you guys pushed back a little bit, and I think as a result of that, we've come up with a project that we can all be very, very proud of. And so we look forward to continuing to work with you on this project, but many more in the future. So thank you for your commitment to Mesa, Arizona. I assure you that we're equally committed to your success on this project and anything else that we can do with you in the future. And again, thank you to so many people that have held the hand of this part of Mesa for decades to help us get to it. It's very much by design that we are where we are right now, and that all of the beautiful amenities, the university and the freeways and the parks and recreation and the master planned communities, all the things that make this such a desirable location were brought here by people who have been working very hard. So thank you. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, and we're happy to celebrate this success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Giles. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for attending with us. I just have a couple other people that I would like to thank or dig a little bit deeper on, and I completely agree. We really want this to be a win-win, not only for us as the developer and the owner, but for the city and the community. We really strive to make sure that it's something that project that we're proud of and that the city is proud of as well, and something for the community to be able to stand there and see what the city does and make sure that the city's always looking out for their best interests. So it's been a good experience. So thank you. Would like to thank the team from Indianapolis, Angie Harris and Lori Wick and her team with Chelsea, Caitlin, and Allison, setting all this up for everybody. It's something that takes a lot more work than what you would think, so really appreciate everything that you guys do. Also appreciate Clayco and all you guys' help in helping set all this up too, and bringing the equipment over means that you're not out there working, but we get it. We appreciate it. Internal team, like Chris mentioned, Andy Cole couldn't be here. Andy does a tremendous job for us. As most of you that have met Andy know how he acts and really puts the company forward and does a tremendous job. So I wish he was here to help celebrate the groundbreaking milestone, but we do appreciate everything he does for us. Also, Mike Clark, I know we've got a We've had some struggles on this one. There's always challenges, especially in today's environment with materials and costs and labor, everything. So it's done a tremendous job in getting us here and working through everything with Clayco to get a top-notch contractor out here to do the project for us. So thank you. Project really started with Lee and Associates, you know, bringing this and getting that connection with Larry and Chris. It's you know, great help having a partnership like that. So thank you to Ken and Chris for that. Butler Design Group. I know Glenn's here and Alex. I know Rick couldn't make it, but we appreciate it. We know you guys are the ones who are on the calls, making all the changes for us. We appreciate everything you guys do, and Hunter Engineering as well. A&F Steel, one of the first groups that we went to out here when everybody heard there were steel issues and long lead times, and we were concerned we weren't going to have steel. Got all of our steel sitting over here, ready to go for all 3 buildings. Thank you. Got rock solid, back into back, same thing, concrete. We want to make sure these buildings are all concrete, make sure we had that procured. So Mike had worked with these guys to set that up early on, so really appreciate you guys' partnership. And last but not least, we knew going into industrial project like this, being the first one in Mesa for us, we want to knock it out of the park, make sure that we had a good partnership, and fortunate enough to be working with Clayco as a general contractor to get the job done. So thank you. So with that, I'd just like to encourage everybody to stay around and have some refreshments. Check out the renderings that we've got over here showing what the final result's going to look like for the project. And then if I could have the following people over here at the dig box for photo op, I'd appreciate it. Got Mayor Giles, Councilmember Kevin Thompson, Bill Jurgeniak, Ken McQueen, Mr. Hake, Mr. Clark, and Chris Brady. If you guys could join us over here. We only have 8 shovels, so I apologize for that. But once we get done with that, if all the other councilmen and Mesa Chamber of Commerce, if you could join us as well. And Scott Summers, of course. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so you don't have to put the hard hats on unless you want to.
You got room, everybody?
It's awfully hard.
Do the hat.
Hats, yes or no? All right.
Yeah, do the hat.
All right.
And dig a hole.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna do a 3, 2, 1,
That
and
was
then you
Clayco
just
saying dig a hole, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna do 3, 2, 1, and on 1 you just pitch the dirt, and then we can do it again if we need to. So everybody ready? 3, 2, 1. Yay! Okay, did we get it?
Somebody got it.
Did anybody
Out
get
of the
it?
30 cameras, really one of them got it.
Okay, does anybody else want to get up
Share that
there?
with
and-
everybody else.
Can we just do a still image? Is everyone
Sure.
looking this way? All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Council members? Yeah, let's get
Come on, guys.
Sally. Do a city of Mesa.
Council members?
Yes, but we need. It's not as much fun as we're excited to get going.
Give me that handwritten name tag.
Thanks. Just to get one of that. I was thinking.
I come with my own hat.
If I just switched to like
That's fine. I like it that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, squeeze in there. Steph?
Lori, you know you want to do it.
Steph, honey, I done it. And done it. And done it again.
You should get back on your team.
Right up there. There you go. Right. I'm glad you went out to the park though. You went to the park with all that equipment.
Yes, it is. I mean, I'm proud of that's very much a city makes it. One of a kind.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
part of their files.